Tell him I got the juice.
The guy took me on a date to one of these chain restaurants for the first date. He would not
I already don't even like how she said chain restaurants. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
hear from me again. Oh my God, you're shallow. All you care
Yeah,
about is money.
Yes. They right. You are shallow.
Oh my God. Like, you want me to take you to the stores in Vegas and open them after hours so you can pick out 12 bags. No, I understand that I can come off as bougie. That's not what this is. You can't take someone to a chain. You just can't.
Let me tell you how silly this is. You know, Nobu is a chain. Nobu is one of the nicest restaurants all over the country. You go to Nobu in LA, you go to Nobu in Phoenix. It's one of the nicest restaurants. It's a chain. So the problem with these ignorant women like this woman here is that's why you single and nobody want to be with you, because you worried about the restaurant and not worried about the person that you go with to the restaurant. You would rather for a good man to take you to a chain restaurant and your next restaurant be Steak 44. But now you want Johnny, who got 15 women on the side who don't give a dang about you, want to take you and bend you in the 3-point stance and take you to a nice restaurant to get the goods, and then he ain't talking to you no more. That's what
he said 3-point stance. Okay.
you want. That girl probably in her 30s, late 20s. She probably got more miles on her than a Honda Civic. And you think a man gonna take you to a nice restaurant on the first? Come on, man. Be realistic. Be kind. Be reasonable. You know, you don't know the man financial status. I make more money now in a month than I made an entire year when me and my wife first got married. She looking at me. I'm taking her to a chain, and she gonna not be with me? Oh, okay. That would have been the craziest mistake of her life. Anyway,
That part, craziest mistake of her life. But here's an actual scripture that I want to keep in mind, as this entire conversation has actually gotten blown way out of proportion. Proverbs 13:22 reads, "A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous." Now, in a lot of other versions, this would also read, "A good man leaves an inheritance for their children's children." And this video, these first date lists, all these women that are coming out here and telling people that now certain restaurants, chain restaurants, aren't good locations for first dates. Listen, there is a lot of that comes off in a manner of like, either you're too good for that, the man's pockets is only where the value comes from, or even the location. But here's the reason why I bring up Proverbs 13:22, because that just has nothing to do with the inheritance that a good man, a good person, can leave. So what determines this inheritance that is supposed to be left behind this good person, good man, to his children's children? Well, of course, we can always look at the wealth. Yes, that is a part of the inheritance that a good man would leave for his family once he passes on from time to eternity. But there's so much more in this context of this chapter that reveals what is also considered an inheritance to leave behind his family, his children, his children's children, and those around him. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at verse 16 in Proverbs 13. "All who are prudent act with knowledge, but fools expose their folly." Throughout Proverbs, we see Solomon describe the difference between a wise and a fool. And you want someone who's considered the right person for you to move in wisdom. And a part of moving in wisdom is acting with knowledge, taking the knowledge that you have and putting it to use, putting it to action, making it applicable. How about faithfulness or trustworthiness in verse 17? "A wicked messenger falls into trouble, but a trustworthy envoy brings healing." So there's a compare and contrast in this very verse between a wicked messenger who just spreads wicked messages. It's not helpful. It's not beneficial. It doesn't bring life to the individual. Therefore, the messenger falls into trouble, but a trustworthy envoy brings healing. You can trust the words that this person is going to share. It's going to build one's life. It's going to build one's character. It's going to be encouraging and life-giving. This is a type of person you want to be around, you want to invest into, you want to create a relationship with. How about generosity in this same context in Proverbs 13, verse 7? "One person pretends to be rich, yet has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth." And so it's the perspective of giving, right? One can have and attain all the money in the world, but be stingy with it, not give, not elevate others up, not invest into other people. But this person who pretends to be poor, it doesn't mean he's actually poor. It just means that he lives his life with an open hand. He looks to give and move in generosity. And because of his generous giving and generous spirit, he has great wealth. So an individual who is a good person within this context of Proverbs, who can leave an inheritance for his children's children, isn't just one who's leaving an inheritance of money, isn't just leaving an inheritance of monetary wealth, but it's also leaving an inheritance of generosity, leaving an inheritance of faithfulness, stewardship, and being trustworthy with his words, encouraging and life giving with his words. Is an individual who dispenses and deposits knowledge into others around him so that others can learn, others can grow, others can develop spiritually, mentally, in all those aspects in the right direction in truth. Those are more and more positive inheritances that goes far greater than money could ever give someone. Check out Proverbs 13, verse 2 through 3 as well. That gives more examples to the fruit of one's lips. From the fruit of their lips, people enjoy good things, but the unfaithful have an appetite for violence. Those who guard their lips preserve their lives, but those who speak rashly will come to ruin. We can apply this text by seeing that there's value in the words that this wise person speaks, and that people from these wise words, from these life-giving words that are spoken, enjoy good things. They hear good things. They're encouraged. They're uplifted. They were given life in so many ways. Those who guard their lips preserve their lives. So not only are they speaking encouragement, but they're also watching their own tongue. They know that they could say some damaging things in some pretty critical moments, and being able to withhold that and not use their words as weapons, but use their words as giving life to somebody is just as important. This is also something that could be deposited as an inheritance to one's children's children that would make this person a good person, this man a good man, and a man that's worth investing your time into, a man that's worth growing and developing a life with, building life with, journeying and doing life with. And of course, this could also go without saying, but check out verse 13. Whoever scorns instruction will pay for it, but whoever respects a command is rewarded. And of course, in all of this context, in all of Proverbs, the big core spiritual background that Solomon gives us is one who respects a command, respects the law of God, respects the word of God, who takes heed to it. They are rewarded. But one who scorns instruction, one who does not abide by instruction, one who does not live his life submitted to God, will pay for it. And so ultimately, this man, this good man who leaves inheritance for his children, all these things that we've described, is first and foremost a man of God, a one who's after God's own heart, who's following and submitted to God, and looks to take heed to the instructions that God gives him for the direction of his life. And that is somebody that you can trust, that you can invest your time into. So what's the point in sharing all this? The point is, a good man is determined by so much more than the monetary value that he may or may not have. And to truly know if the man that you are spending time with, the person that you are spending time with, has the capacity for such descriptions that we just laid out through walking through Proverbs 13, is if you choose, ma'am, to focus more on getting to know who he is and focus less on where he is or is not taking you on a first date that would be considered a chain restaurant. You could easily be missing the man you need, the person you need, and the person you just simply need to do life with because you were focused on the finite, limited things like a chain restaurant and where you went on the first date, how much money you spent on the first date, and then wonder why you're remaining frustrated, single, and no one is giving you the time of day. So I think the encouragement in this message is to give you some different perspectives and insights on who is considered a good man in description, in detail, authentically, inwardly and outwardly, spiritually, in every level. That allows you to expand your horizon on what it actually means to find the person, the process you ought to walk through, endure, and the things you should look for to determine if this person is somebody you could see yourself building a future with. I promise you, you aren't going to consider the location of the first date as the biggest indicator on whether or not this person is right for you. So spend time getting to know them, spend time getting to invest into them, and let's not look to move with this huge ego and major pride as if you're too good to sit at a chain restaurant to simply get to know somebody to determine whether or not this is something you want to move forward in the future. It may be possible that the person that you sit with isn't up there with the money in the pockets, but I promise you, if you spend time getting to know him and look for these indicators listed in Proverbs 13, there's so much more that he has that money simply can't buy, and that you and potentially the future you could create with this person could be far better off with, that in the end can produce such a wealthy life that goes so much deeper than the pockets that person has. And even in the process, building the life you ultimately want to have, increasing in monetary gain as well. Listen, I appreciate you guys all so much for tuning into this video. If you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe, like this video, share it with a friend who also may want to know what a good man looks like and how much deeper inheritances really go that actually allows you to determine if the person you're considering makes the most sense for you. I appreciate you guys all so much. And until our next conversation, be easy and be breezy. Peace.